Democrats decide to settle for Biden by Derek Hunter on Townhall, March 12, 2020. Bernie Sanders doesn't know when to quit. In movies, that's an admirable trait. But they only make movies about people who eventually win, even if it's just a moral victory. When someone who's lost and lost badly doesn't quit, it just comes off as pathetic. And Bernie has become pathetic. That, however, isn't to say that Joe Biden rallied the troops and surged to victory in the classic sense. He won because more Democrats than not simply do not want Bernie Sanders as their nominee. Any port in a storm, and when there's only one port left, that's when you dock your ship. Biden is a candidate who survived long enough to be that port, the destination voters settled for because the alternative was worse. Not exactly inspiring. That's been the story of Joe Biden. He's not inspiring, he's just there. He's the gruel of politics. He's food that will keep you alive, sure, but no one ever craves it. What is there about Biden to excite people? He's not Donald Trump, but neither was any Democrat. He's a rich, old white guy, none of which is in favor with his party's activist base. He's also spent his life in power in government, so he has no impressive accomplishments that inspired his entry into politics. He's simply always been there. He's the personification of establishment. Bernie, for all his insane ideas, excited his voters. It's almost cult-like. There's no talking them out of it. They're going down with the ship. Biden is, what is he? Where Bernie is offering major policy proposals, all of which are awful, Joe is just there. He offers standard boilerplate Democratic awfulness. Who gets excited about what's standard? On healthcare, the status quo has no greater champion. Biden will build on Obamacare, he says. What does that mean? He doesn't know. It's just a catchphrase. What he'll end up doing is reinstating the individual mandate, one of the least popular aspects of the law that forces Americans to buy something they either can't afford thanks to Obamacare mandates or don't want. It's an idea people hate, which is why he's not asked about it, and his handlers don't make him speak about it on the stump. On foreign policy, Biden talks about how he'll restore respect for America abroad. How? Biden is a clown. He was a champion for war with Iraq, who now claims he voted to authorize it in the hope of avoiding it. Joe has repeatedly claimed he knows all these world leaders personally, and they secretly tell him they support him. Who are they? Do they exist? Does anyone believe there are world leaders excited at the prospect of a Biden presidency because it would be good for America? To the extent that any foreigner is rooting for him, it is only because he will weaken the U.S. on the world stage. Is there anyone who looks back at the Obama-Biden years as great for this country on foreign policy? Do we need more wars and ISIS rebuilt? It's not an accident Obama's former Secretary of Defense said Biden has been wrong on nearly every major foreign policy and national security issue over the past 4 decades. On labor, who wants to be forced to join a union? A President Biden would. Like every Democrat in the race, Biden is a wholly owned subsidiary of big labor union bosses who are going to dump millions to get him elected. They aren't doing that because they think he'll be good for the country. Joe will get rid of right to work, the ability to choose whether or not you want to join a union. Unions are terrified at the prospect of voluntary membership, which tells you everything you need to know about what they're offering. They need the forced dues to fund Democrats, and Democrats want that funding. You can also expect an obsession with race under Joe. One of the Obama administration's last acts was to launch a program to sue companies over alleged hiring discrimination based not on evidence, but math. if you don't employ enough of a particular race of people as determined by faceless bureaucrats. Even though there is no evidence this is based on race, the Department of Labor might sue you claiming discrimination. For reasons unknown, the Trump administration hasn't dropped these suits, and there is no reason to think Biden would do anything but expand them. Is there anyone who thinks that the country needs is more of an obsession with race? Biden is a shell, a doddering old man who wants to check the last elusive box left empty on a long resume of government jobs. He's not going to lead because he's never led, and he no longer possesses the mental abilities to do it. He wants the chair and the desk. The powers that be in the Democrat Party see him as an opportunity to get the band back together. A Biden presidency would be marred by score settling and supporter payoffs, unchecked graft, while Joe spins in the chair screaming, "Whee!" in between bowls of Jell-O and tightly scripted, very short teleprompter reading events. In many ways, it would be worse than if Sanders were elected. At least Bernie has no friends to pay off and few allies in Congress willing to pursue his agenda because they hate him. Biden would be a rubber stamp for anything put in front of him. Is there anything about a President Biden that would excite anyone who isn't already dependent upon government power and money? He's not President Trump, and he's not Bernie Sanders. And that's all he's got going for him. If not being the incumbent was enough to win an election, President Romney would be finishing up his final term right now. This video is a production of the School of the White Crane. Hi, my name is John Brooker. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Please share this video with family and friends and on social media. May God richly bless you, my beloved.